Welcome to Buy It on BirchStreet, the weekly show where we highlight the best of procure-to-pay on demand in innovation, automation, and solutions to help save you and your customers valuable money and time. BirchStreet Systems provides global enterprises with multiple locations a complete procure-to-pay business solution deploying cloud technology. I'm your host, Gareth Fraser. Our guest today is Business Development Manager for Central and Western regions of North America, Britt Sanders. Welcome to the show, Britt.
Oh, well, thanks for having me, Gareth.
Britt's in sunny California, and I am in sunny Florida. Let's begin, Britt, by asking about your background and what brought you to BirchStreet Systems.
Yeah, I think it's a little unique. My background's probably a little bit different than some of the folks here. I've been in software technology for a lot of years, more than I'd like to admit. But I think that's kind of brought me to BirchStreet today, where, an industry focus in hospitality. Spent time with companies like IBM, Kofax, doing things like RPA, robotic process automation, and focus on the back office. And I think that's why BirchStreet was a landing place for me, automating the back office processes, eliminating manual processes. And so career-wise, it made a lot of sense. And, in the hospitality, I'm just thankful to be here now, and what's not to love about it.
Now, you serve an expansive region, and could you share with our listeners, Britt, what your role encompasses?
Yeah, so I'm a business development manager here at BirchStreet. Right now, I'm covering the Central Territory and the Western Territory, and it's really a large territory geographically. The number of accounts are not as big. We've got the majority of the country, really. And what I do as a business development manager, I mentioned this many times, I really love what I do, for several reasons. The main part of the job is to knock on doors, find new business, develop that from the beginning. But I also have the ability to work deals, to close deals, take things through the sales cycle as well. So it's kind of a nice mix. I think we all work with customers as well. So it allows me to work with support as well as delivery, our customer success team. And so every day is a little different. I'm not just banging on the phones every single day and trying to get a hold of folks. A lot of times it's really mixed. And so I really like that about the position.
Speaking about the position, Britt, you've been at BirchStreet Systems longer than most of our sales team. And so it's given you a different perspective, and especially during the COVID pandemic period. In your view, how has this impacted the largest hospitality brands?
It's interesting, Gareth, because, I've moved into hospitality. Hospitality, as you know, has been really hit by the pandemic. I think about my career here, and the majority of my time at BirchStreet has been under this pandemic. So it's kind of interesting. And I think a lot of the industry has been hit with labor shortages, with supply chain issues. And now recently, I think the big thing is probably going to be inflation. So I think that those have really affected the industry, and that's what I hear every day. And folks still have a lot of the same problems, but these, particularly labor shortages are really top of mind. And I think it's affected the leaders in the industry in different ways. Some of them have really decided, hey, I'm going to hold on to money. I'm not going to spend. But I think those are fewer and further between. I think the majority of industry has decided that, hey, we need to look at the way we do business. We need to figure out a better way to do it. We need to figure out how we're going to eliminate a lot of the manual processes that we do and just improve all around wherever we can. So that's what I've seen lately.
Speaking of what you're seeing and hearing lately, you're on multiple demonstrations, interacting with the customers, as you noted, on a constant and daily basis. What are you seeing from that, Britt, that drives the greatest value proposition, you would say, for BirchStreet Systems and its platform?
Well, I think, the pandemic has really proved BirchStreet out. Now, you'll find that, although we had a lot of customers over the pandemic that had issues with payments and things like that, it's really been a solution that they've held on to, they've continued to use. We've always been part of their processes and their needs at these companies. It's really been indispensable for our customers. And I think, the fact that today they're really looking at improving processes, they're really looking at the way they do business more. BirchStreet was in a good position. I still talk to folks that are doing a lot of manual processes around invoices, around, entering geo codes. These are all things that BirchStreet can address, and we've got solutions for, and to inventory as well. It's really a full solution that BirchStreet has, and we touch on so many areas where we can help that it really makes sense for companies to really take a close look at BirchStreet. We become a standard in the industry when it comes to procure to pay. And especially when you look, like I mentioned, with inflation, with supply chain issues and labor shortages, I think folks are really looking at the procurement, looking at, how they're spending money and making sure that they're getting the right price, the best deal. BirchStreet actually has the solutions and the capabilities to kind of address all those needs. So like I said, I hear that, BirchStreet has come indispensable to our customers, and it's really ringing true, especially how we've done over the pandemic. It looks like things are turning around, and we're actually looking at a much better 2022 going forward here.
Well, speaking of going forward, anybody who knows you, Britt, knows you enjoy the great outdoors. You live in the west of the United States, the expansive west with its snow-capped mountains, its spectacular views, its verdant valleys that provide so much fruit and vegetables for the nation, and glorious seaside vistas. With that love of the outdoors, what generated that, and what has it taught you in life?
Yeah, that's a good question, Gareth. I think that it's been hard for me to stay away from it here in Southern California. I was just talking earlier, we had some really warm weather. It's the early February right now. And so it's hard to avoid not having that pull to go and be in the outdoors. And I've always been in a warm climate my whole life, even though I haven't lived here in Southern California forever. But, it's kind of got that pull, and I've played sports. I've done all kinds of outdoor activities around the beach. Lately, I've been doing cycling. Allows me to get out and feel the wind in my face. And so I really love that. And I also like getting out when other folks are around, when you got more people on the trails that I go to. It helps me be more competitive. And think back in my sport days when I used to play a lot of sports, football, baseball, basketball, help me be more competitive, which I think translates into the workplace as well. It's hard to avoid in Southern California. I know Gareth, you're in Florida, sunny Florida, and so we're kind of competitive that way, and we kind of have similarities there. But one thing we don't have is the alligators and the humidity. So I think it's just hard to avoid here in Southern California. So just love it.
Okay, I got the point there, Britt. For our listeners' benefit, I have had the privilege to live out in the Pacific Northwest, up in the Mountain High area, and then also up into Oregon and Washington, spectacular rivers and mountains and wonderful passes and valleys. But yes, currently I do live in Southern Florida, and not a week goes by that I don't see a gator or a bobcat or a snake. And we love it. Bring on the humidity and bring on the sunshine. Come to the Sunshine State. But I guess, Britt, you can't come to the Sunshine State without a bicycle. I'm going to have to get a bicycle and follow your lead, I guess.
Yeah, I'd recommend it, Gareth, for sure.
You've been listening to BirchStreet Systems Business Development Manager for the Central and Western regions of North America, Britt Sanders. Thanks for joining us today, Britt.
Well, thanks for having me, Gareth. It's been a pleasure.
Our time is up. So from all of us here at BirchStreet Systems, where if you can think to buy it, you want to buy it, and you need to buy it, you can buy it. So join us next time right here on Buy It on BirchStreet.